It's Mo and Doe, and we're going to give you Mo Doe. We're going to step out of our comfort zone and delve into things we barely know anything about, because why not? We're live once, and we're going to do this, and we're going to give you our totally 1000% subjective, uninformed opinion about the Met Gala looks, because it's something we can talk about on a Tuesday night. That's just the way it's going to be, okay? So let's get real with that, and hopefully you don't hate us. Hopefully you don't hate us at the end of this, and if it amuses you, if you want to hear two monkeys talk about fashion who know nothing about it, stick around.
All right, so right off the top,
yes,
on the first best dress list right now, we got the soon-to-be mama of three, I think, Miss Umbrella herself, Rihanna. Chris, what are your thoughts on this fit right here? This is deemed best, one of the best so far. The internet's ablaze on this one.
Okay, I'm getting vintage Michael Jackson vibes on this with the hat tilted to the side. I love the circumference of the hat itself. I love the kind of bolero crop top. And you know what I like about clothes? When they are able to accentuate your body type and break a proportion. So it's carefully following the rule of thirds, even more. It's almost like a fifth. And so she's pregnant, so we can see that, and her belly is showing. And I think it's classy. It's got a long train on this dress, and she just pokes out one foot, and I like that. So it's mysterious. It's cool. It's got some, I guess, Spanish or Mexican vibes to this, and I like that.
This is gonna be the best video I've probably ever done with Chris, because Chris, you have the language for like texture and material and the design. I'm running off vibes. Okay, I'm running off vibes. I really like this thing that it reminds me of J-Lo back at the Oscars a few years back. I think the leg piece coming out here is fire. And I like the small accents of color with like the bow tie. And I 100% agree with you. To pull off a fit like this while pregnant, the fact that they made and I can tell this is intentional, because her and A$AP Rocky were talking about her pregnancy. Like the focus is like, ooh, how good can we make her look pregnant and accentuate the pregnancy? I think that's really, really fire. Jodie Turner-Smith, something about this is just giving me Willy Wonka vibes, but yes, modern-esque. I love it. I also love the monochrome that is going on. One good color, maybe a few different tints of that color. Yes. And I know we're not trying to actually talk about the person, but her swagger, like the pose she's giving, the confidence she's oozing. She looks good in this, in my opinion. And something about this and I think it's leather too, and I love that about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's off bounds to talk about the swag and not even know anything about her, because a good outfit gives you that presence. It commands. And you can see how she's got the hat cocked to the side. So that's a lot of tude there. And it's creating different lines. What we want to stay away from is a straight line up and down. Whether you're a man or woman, we want to break up the lines and break up the proportions and create layering. And I see this in this outfit here, how her collar's flared out and layered over the overcoat, how it's kind of a hybrid between a jacket and how it cinches together on the side, creating really dramatic drapery lines, and it flares out at the bottom. And it shows some breakup of the form because it opens in parts in the middle where she can put her leg out, which looks like she's in some kind of pant. I love the detailing, and it's just the craftsmanship. It looks like some kind of embroidered or some fabric that has dimension and texture to it. Hard to pull this stuff off. You called it monochromatic. It's like tone on tone on tone. So when the tones aren't right, it throws you off. But we're guaranteed it's going to be right because it's designed by one person versus putting together a bunch of pieces.
Shout out Jodie Turner-Smith, and this look is by Burberry, actually.
Oh, wow.
So
a little bit different. A little unexpected there.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to talk Doja Cat.
Okay. First of all, those heels. Is that 12 inches? The fact that she can stand and walk around that is crazy to me. I'm not in love with this look. I'll tell you why. Is because I think she's super sexy. She's got a lot of attitude, and this heart-shaped pear thing, it's just messing around with the illusion of her shape, her body. Yes. And I just don't love it. I also just don't think these two patterns gel together. You have some kind of leopard tiger print with a pinstripe, and I understand the influence from each. Like one says to me like little African, the other one is that dandyism that we're talking about, a throwback to a different era with pinstripe. I also don't love the shoulder pads just as a straight line across. I understand what they're trying to do, which is create a different silhouette. It's not working great for me. It makes it look really off balance, broad top, really narrow bottom, and it's all on purpose. I'm just not feeling it.
No, knowing Doja Cat can be a little weird. So I think she's intentionally doing that piece here. The problem for me with this piece, this is reminding me of that Kanye West and Lil Pump video for I Love It, where they're wearing these big suits. Those broad shoulders, I don't necessarily love it. What I do love personally is the hair. I think it's bold, in my opinion. I actually like the makeup too for her, like the blue eyeshadow, the red lipstick, and the jewelry for me is really nice. I like the touches of aqua and whatnot, but I can't really get behind the suit. But I know Doja Cat, she's weird. I think she showed up to another event like complete as a cat at some point. But this is a suit from Marc Jacobs. So shout out Marc Jacobs.
Okay.
Not for me.
Hey,
not for me personally.
You know what I like about you? You pulled out the positive things. I'm in agreement with you. The hair, the makeup, the necklace, the earrings, and the ring or whatever is on her finger. I think they work really well. I just think she's got a lot of style and attitude in her music. I'm just not feeling this outfit.
All right, next up we got Zendaya. I'll lead with this one. I want to put my personal biases up on the forefront. I'm a Zendaya stan. I think Zendaya as a person has immaculate swagger. And right here, again, the monochrome look, the flared bottom pants is just a vibe to me. And Zendaya is really cool because she can pull off traditionally, right, masculine looks, but also traditionally feminine looks. This one, the three-piece suit, everything being the same tone, it's just classy. Simple to me is so good. And apparently this is by Law Roach.
The Law Roach.
The Law Roach. My bad.
So here's the fun fact about Zendaya. Before she became like a box office draw where everybody knew her name, where she got breakout roles, you know what she used to do? She used to crash fashion shows, and she would really put a lot of energy and intention behind her outfits. And then people are asking, who's this girl? She's got swagger, she's got style. And here's the best part I like about Zendaya. She goes, I would show up to be this person and they would write about it. So my challenge was to become the person that they were imagining. I love this. It's about personal brand. It's about understanding where you're going, not where you're at, and then growing into that role. This is an outfit that I think shows class, shows sophistication, creates a statement without being loud. And I love this. So look at the lines on her. It really plays well with her proportions. You can see her long legs and her kind of model-esque body. And what I love is that, what you already pointed this out, is it feminine? Is it masculine? I don't know, but it just works. It works. And I think the pièce de résistance is this floppy hat that she puts on top. It's a vibe. You know, I think Doja has really good looks. And hey, you might hate me for this, but I think this is a pretty good look. This is using all of the Louis Vuitton language, the damier short skirt or whatever this is, or a short skirt schmirt or whatever you want to call it. I love the tailoring on this jacket. It's super tight to her. It shows her form off really well. I like that the waistcoat that is underneath the jacket is a matching pattern. And, you know, it's hard to pull off looks like this where you're using a pretty bold monogram and the damier pattern. But I think it works. And I think what ties it together, believe it or not, is this scarf tie that's been tied, the LV belt. So there's a little bit of bling there, some gold. And I think it ties together beautifully. So if you're looking at how to wear a mostly white or off-white outfit, first of all, break it up with pattern. And you want to contrast the patterns. You want to add a little sparkle and then tie it the top and the bottom with a color and a bold color. And I like the sheen that's coming across on what I imagine to be a silk scarf necktie.
I'm going to add one thing. I'm no fashion expert. I'm just reacting, right? My favorite thing about this look is this maroon accent color that she has going on with the scarf, the socks, and the shoes. But here's the reason why. Outside of it breaking the gray and white pattern that the suit has, it complements her skin tone so well. Like, look at the lipstick, right? Like, the lipstick matches the scarf, matches the shoes, and it's just enough, and it really makes her, I think, face radiate and shine. So that's my favorite part of this entire look.
You may have another career in makeup analyst here, Mo, because you're really zeroing in on things I'm not even looking at, because I'm focused on the fashion. I'm skipping things and missing out on the entire look.
Hence why we're complimenting each other, I think. You're focusing on like the design and the texture and the layers, and I'm like, is this a vibe or not? Does this bring out the person's spirit? I think this one definitely does.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Okay.
This one's wacky as heck for me. It looks like there was a pink present that was wrapped and she walked up in it.
Not the present.
I just don't love these pleats that shoot out or whatever that is. It's holding out her hip line or whatever. So it flares out like a dress or a skirt. and then it comes down like a straight leg thing here. I'm not feeling this look at all, Mo. It almost looks like she's wearing a bib, like she's gonna go to have a lobster meal and tucks in the shirt. It's like, I'm good for both things.
Yeah,
Mo, over to you.
I would have to agree with you. And the beautiful thing about Tracy, because I've seen Tracy in other outfits, she has a slender fit. She's very fit.
Yeah.
These poofy pants. And shout out to Marc Jacobs. This is not a look for me.
Hey, that's 2 strikes against Marc Jacobs already.
I don't know what but again,
he's amazing.
Fashion is about pushing boundaries. I get it. The pants are a problem for me. You know what my reaction to this fit is? The girl's facial reaction in the back. That's what she's like, yo, what do you got on right now? Yeah. All right, next up on the list is the first guy on the list, Mr. Bad Bunny.
Let me start positively.
Yeah.
It's hard to pull off a brown suit and a mocha colored shirt. And I think there's something working here at the beginnings of something. I don't love double breasted suits. I feel like it's really old style. Now, I don't know how tall or the shape or the figure of Bad Bunny is, but this is making him look shorter and blockier than I would like. Okay. I also think the bag itself is disproportionate. It is so big, it's making him look like a child carrying that, right? So it is, we have to consider proportion and who you're making this for. But you know what's fire for me? Those gloves. Facts. I don't know what's going on, but whatever kind of detailing is on the glove is really cool. I wish more of that was put in somewhere else and to tie it together. I don't understand the hat. It's tilted to the side. It looks a little bit like a turban, but it's open at the top. So it's got, some Rasta vibes to me, but I just don't understand this. I don't like his glasses, his sunglasses.
Damn.
They're really small.
You don't like any of this thing.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's not a good look. Individually, the parts probably are really cool. Like I could see myself buying a coffee mocha colored shirt like that and pairing it with a skin tone tie. But the rest of it's just not working for me. Over to you.
This might be the first one where we are not in alignment. I'm vibing with this all the way. All the way. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my leaning towards like old money looking vibes, the London double-breasted suit. That's a very British thing. Something about this just works for me. I don't love the shirt and the tie. I think he was trying to combine the shirt and the tie with the Prada bag. Not my favorite combination. I would have loved to see him no shirt, no tie, straight nude under the suit, which to me would have made the bag highlight a little bit more. Because right now I feel like the bag and the shirt and the tie are competing. Other than that, I rock with this look. All right, I got to start off with this Miley one. And I think everybody might be feeling the same thing I'm about to say. This necklace, dog, is incredible. This choker right here, big fan. I love that a big focus here is, and I just said it for Bad Bunny, she has nothing on under the jacket. So her abs, her stomach become like a focal point. I think the way the skirt, again, I can't get into the detail like you, the way the skirt kind of shapes her frame and then the neutral makeup. I love this. I love everything about this.
I think this is a really good look. And where we might agree on this is why I disagree on the Bad Bunny look.
Yeah.
Proportions are well maintained. I don't know if this is a crocodile leather that she's wearing, but I like the texture in it, the sheen, and how it splits across on her breast and pulls up. I think that's a really good look. And immediately, too, I'm drawn towards the collar. Yes. There's a couple of things it's doing for me. One, it's throwing a little African vibes. I like that a lot. I also think it draws a separation, or it separates her collar from her neck. So it gives the illusion that her neck is longer than it really is.
Facts.
And I think that's always a way to make somebody look more elegant. Her makeup's on point. She feels like she could be Cleopatra or something like that.
Yes.
Something really cool. Right?
Maybe that's why I like it. The Egyptian vibes.
it's pulling that up, right? And notice here, and this shouldn't be something part of our conversation, but the lines on her sleeves and her waist really create opportunities to create interesting angles. Whereas Bad Bunny's outfit was super boxy and it just squared him up and it didn't give me any angles. Look at the way her waistline is designed. So it's slim and taut to show off her figure, and it pulls out and opens up towards the bottom, creating an interesting shape. It could have gone a lot of different ways, but I think here it's got a little biker vibe on the top and very formal dress at the bottom. I like the juxtaposition of the two.
Ooh, shout out Miley. That was a great analysis of this. Second guy on the list, Henry Golding. Chris, you start us off.
Okay. From a black dandyism, black style, I think this nails it. Does this make him look great? I'm not sure. When we wear one color and it's one pattern top to bottom, it starts to look like a jumpsuit or a jumper. And it has some problems with that. Like, where's the waistline in this? Because the waistcoat bleeds into the pants. And I'm not sure. He's probably got a great physique, but this does not complement his body at all to me. His hips look a lot wider. He looks short relative to how wide the pants are. But the positive things I can say to this, I love the pocket watch, the gold chain that sparkles right there. I love the black accent, the shirt that's poking up underneath the jacket and the waistcoat. And whatever the bracelet or the gold watch that's peeking out underneath that, I think those are smart touches. We need more contrast here, and I don't think we have enough.
I would echo exactly what you said, and I didn't really feel it until you described it so well. I love the accessories. I love the small touches of those accessories, but you're right. Maybe we could have gotten rid of the vest so we can have a break between the jacket, the vest, and the pants with that black shirt, and that would have allowed the suit to pop a little bit more. But I do agree with you. The contrast is not there to really accentuate the suit. All right, Lupita and Chris said you got to separate the person from the fit. So objectively speaking, it's doing nothing for me. I have no real critique. I just, from a feeling standpoint, when I see it, something's off. The hat is too small relative to the outfit. And then the cape feels like an afterthought. The monochrome is not working here, or the similar tones is not working for me. The hat is really messing it all up for me. But if we had to throw a positive in there, I love her and her acting. That's all I got on this one.
And this is a pass for me. We're going to get roasted for this because it's on the list of many people for best dress. So Lupita, I'm not looking at you as a person. I love your work. I think you're an amazing person. This looks like a periwinkle fairy from Peter Pan or something. There's something like, don't people get ripped for walking up with tuxedos and suits in this color? There's something that just not vibing for me. Yeah. Again, I believe most of the people we're talking about have amazing figures. So when you put them in an outfit, a suit or a dress, you should make them look great relative to their figure. Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. When you mentioned it, this hat makes her head look ginormous.
That's what it. Thank you for saying.
That's
what it is. That's why the hat's bothering me.
She borrowed her kid's sister's hat and put it on, and it's like an upside down dish. I don't get it.
You know what would have worked for this hat? Now that you, that's exactly what it. The hat is such a focal point, and because it's so small, everything else looks big. I think if she would have gone with a traditional top hat that was longer and wider versus this really shrunken hat, it would have maybe given the fit a better look.
You know, I'm going to go crazy. I know this has nothing to do with black tailored or the black dandyism, but I could see something a little bit more extreme, almost like some kind of hat that has a built-in veil, kind of like Dune, the remake, where there's something going on. So there's a little bit more mystery and a little bit more edge to this.
Next up, that has been plastered all over the internet as one of the best dressed, is Teyana Taylor. And this suit is by Marc Jacobs. I'm seeing a theme from Marc Jacobs here. He's really into big shoulders right now, clearly. But yes, dude, for me personally, everything is working here. I love the touches of silver. I don't know what I love the touches. I love the layering. You got the red, then the gray, then the red. And I think when me and you were talking offline, you were like, yo, she's pimping. She is pimping here. And it's working. The gloves, it's giving like pimping, but also if we were like in olden times and she comes into a castle, I don't know. Everything about this work, the feather on the hat, everything for me is working on this. She's absolutely crushing it. Shout out to her and Marc Jacobs. This is where, for me, it worked with Marc Jacobs. But over to you, Chris. I don't know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to go to a high fashion thing and look like a pimp. This is maximalism to the maximum. It's one too many tricks. There's the feather in the hat. There's the do-rag. There's all this ice around her neck, around her collar, around her pocket watch, I assume. There's a chain hanging out front. There's a cane. There's not one brooch. There's 3 brooches. There's flowers. It's a lot going on here. I think for me, if you stripped away some of these things, I'm not a fan of these big pointed devil, what do we call this? Shoulder pads. Yeah. I just don't like that. It's the, is it a bull? What? I don't understand. It's so costumey to me. And it's like, you could never wear this anywhere else. And I guess maybe that's what the Met Gala is about.
That's the whole goal, yeah.
But having said that, I'm intrigued by this waistcoat chain that she's wearing.
Talk
I'm
to me.
like, give that to me. And the chain that's hanging down, I don't know what that is, but I want to see if I could rock that look.
You know, maybe this is nostalgia and my childhood kicking in, but seeing
Yeah.
this reminds me of the movie Hook with Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman. When Dustin
Exactly.
Hoffman comes out and Smee's like, Captain, and he puts the jacket on and Hook comes out and he has Robin Williams' son, like something about this. But again, I respect what you said about this. Maybe it is a little too much, but if she can max out this outfit, she can come max out my credit card and me too. What's up, Teyana?
There you go.
All right, last but not least on the best list before we transition to the worst list, and the only reason why we're picking him is because me and Chris are at a crossroads with this guy, Mr.
Go
Pharrell
ahead.
Williams. Chris, you start us off on this one.
Pharrell Williams is to me like my fashion hero. He's my icon. He's doing things that I wish I had the money and the taste to do. But having said that, I think as he's become more famous and more known for fashion and been appointed as the creative director for Louis Vuitton, the house that I love the most, I think he's gotten more conservative with the way he dresses. I like when he mixed things up and there was a little street and a lot of different influences. I don't know if you're aware of this, Mo, but Pharrell sold off most of his jewelry. And I know that Drake had bid it up on these things and now owns parts of Pharrell's jewelry collection. This look doesn't work for me. I'll tell you why. Because normally he's a very handsome, good-looking man who usually rocks timeless style with some flares to make it special and unique. I'm not sure what's going on with the jacket. I think there's some kind of beading or some kind of detail that's going on there. The proportions don't work for me. It makes him look a little top-heavy and disproportionate. Like the pant legs flare out, which I'm cool with flared legs. But I think for me, for this to work, the jacket has to be brought up higher to kind of show you where his waistline. Just imagine editing that and pulling that up and seeing how that would have worked. And again, Black dandyism. I think there are some nice details to this jacket, but I'm not sure it's enough to be like, yeah, that's the Met Gala look, guys.
I think that's fair. I will say this. I'm not going to compare this look to old Pharrell when he was in his group and he was giving off a lot of skater vibes. One thing that I think you're right about is definitely something is off about the fitting of the jacket, but I love the texture of the jacket. So the jacket it's like trying to be a suit jacket, but also it kind of looks like a cardigan, and maybe that's the photo issue. I do love the bell bottoms. Maybe that's a Kendrick inspiration. I absolutely hate the shoes. They look like karate dojo shoes. They do not accentuate the fit, in my opinion. If I were to get into Pharrell's brain, which I have no idea if this was his attempt, I think he's trying to go with a clean look. He also maybe just be trying to promote Louis Vuitton. Let's be honest. He may just be trying to promote Louis since he's over there. I like it personally, but there are some of the elements you talked about that need changing, like the fitting of the jacket. It does make him look like he has a belly. And then the shoes. The shoes got to go, P. The shoes got to go.
Mo, I want to jump right back in here. I think as his appointment as the creative director, he's had to be more serious and grown up in the way he dresses now.
Yeah.
And think he stripped out all of what I used to love about Pharrell.
It's safe to say that he comes across like he's playing it safe now than he was.
Yeah, I think he has to, as a person that the fashion world's looking to. And if you were to have a bad fashion day, like, this is the person that they appointed. What's going on here?
That's fair. All right, we're going to move on to what the internet has deemed some of the worst dressed, and let's see if we agree and what our opinions are.
Let's start out with Miss Hailey Bieber. She looks great. This is very flattering.
Okay.
But this is not Met Gala material.
Talk to me. Okay, pause. What is Met Gala material in your opinion then?
Well, I think when they talk about there's fashion and there's couture, there's something that's not practical. There's something that's maybe a little ostentatious and very showy. It's not meant to be comfortable everyday attire. And this looks like something you can wear out anywhere you go. And so I think there has to be that separation.
Okay.
Fire away.
I love the accessories. Let's start there. The diamond vibes, I do agree with you. It's very safe. You could probably wear this anywhere. The heels got to go. The heels have to go. There is something about how this jacket is fitting her, though, that really works for me. Like, the shoulders are just right. It's form fitting, but I do agree with you. It's way too safe for the Met Gala.
I just think having such a short hemline for this suit dress that she's wearing, it's actually really accentuating her legs and her proportions. And I think it's a really smart look. I just don't think there's enough here to say it's couture or Met Gala worthy.
All right, let's go to Miss Kim K.
Okay, you start.
I'll start off. What's happening here? I don't know what's happening. I think it's confused. It's what's the movie Wild Wild West? It's like trying to be the outfit that Will Smith wore in the Wild Wild West. It's just not working here. The standout pieces here is definitely that. Oof, that necklace is incredible. The necklace is just, it makes her neck look big. It's good with her shoulder. I don't even know how to explain it. I love the necklace. I love everything about it. I love the earrings. The pearls on the dress seems weird to me. It's just confusion. When I see this, it's just confused.
Okay, I don't have too much to add to this. I know Kim automatically gets a lot of hate just because they're like, who is this talentless hack who's over, I guess, has outlived her fame or whatever it is. Okay, obviously she's very wealthy at this point in her life, but this is a crocodile texture here. Yeah. We have a very slim dress with a long train. There's something about it that the proportions and the floppy right shoulder where it kind of folds over on itself is not doing anything for me. If we squint and we look at the proportions, we see like jutting angles from the hat, from that right shoulder, and maybe the train that kind of trails behind her. I don't hate this, but there's nothing here for me that's like, wow, that is a look. Where do we start to emulate this in our real life?
All right, Sabrina Carpenter, she's been put on the worst list across the internet.
Why?
All right, when I first saw this, I was on Instagram, and she was serving looks. The hair is just, it's too much. It's too much for me. It also looks like the hair is fried. Sabrina, we need some moisture in the hair, in my opinion. I love bleaching. The color. I actually love how this thing fits her. I hate the tail. I think maybe she had a good idea to go with this like leg showing thing, but the problem is, if I were to just like crop this and only show her legs, it would come across like she's wearing a swimsuit. I don't love that. I do love the top portion of the suit. The bottom needs a little work.
Okay, who the heck are we to be critiquing masters of fashion? But here
I know, right? That's why I'm like, okay, we'll do this video, but that's just my thoughts.
There's a lot for me to like about this. And unlike you, I don't really look at the hair and the makeup and the jewelry, but I'm looking at mostly the form. It's the good waistline. It's well tailored. I like the symmetrical buttons. And this is a very unique collar. I don't believe there's a white shirt underneath that, but it has a hint of another layer underneath it, which I like. I like how it's kept together with the jewelry that's holding it together. So I'm with you on the legs part. Again, outfits should be designed to accentuate your positives, right? I would like a little bit more mystery here, where maybe there's a sheer or translucent puffy thing that happens there. So it's going to come, I guess, halfway down her legs up into around her knees. I think that could have been another thing. But what do I know? The problem I have with this, it almost feels like she's a cocktail waitress at a men's bar. There's something about that, like, sir, what do you want in your drinks? Can I help you with something? Maybe sometimes in certain Las Vegas casinos, there's looks that feel like this. I know it's not nearly as elevated, but that's my take on it. Okay, I want to talk about Karlie Kloss.
Go for it.
Okay, we were talking about Miley Cyrus, about how her crocodile jacket was cropped and showing her midriff, creating great proportions, allowing her arms to separate from her body. Yeah. So here, Karlie's not helping herself by pulling her arms tight to her body. It just looks like one cardboard frame just up and down. And I know she's got curves, so this is weird, right? And then again, we talked about how Miley's outfit had a tight waistline. It dropped down and then opened up at the bottom and pulled on the floor. Yes. So we can see that you have similar ideas, but the smallest adjustments in proportions, materials, and lines create a totally different look. This is, I think, something that's pleated. It's not a flattering silhouette for her.
I would second everything you said. It's unflattering, and she's a model, and she has a beautiful figure, and it just does feel like she's kind of draping herself with this dress. And then the boots are intended to be some sort of accent. I'm not vibing with it. I will say this seems to be a theme for me. The makeup is beat, though. She looks real good, and that necklace is fire. But we're going to move on.
Okay, we have to talk about Walton Goggins here. I want to say there's so much potential in this fit that I love, but as it comes together, it's not right for me. Let me tell you things I love. I love this really slim white shirt he's wearing and the tie and how it's kind of sort of open.
Yeah.
I don't love where it ends. Like, I don't know the beginning and end of this tie. And it looks like there's a sheath for a knife around his crotch area. I don't fully understand that. Now, internet, correct me. I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's there. Is it a flap for when he has to go to the bathroom? I'm not sure. It's a skirt anyway, so it's not going to be convenient. So just deal with that part. What I do love is this layering of the lines. It looks like it's bolts of fabric kind of sewn together in a deconstructed way. I love this little detail at the bottom of his skirt, which is this cross stitching with a couple of different vertical lines of color. I think that's really smart. I think his jacket, his coat, whatever it is too long. It's repeating the proportion of what we're seeing. I think if that were more like a Taylor suit jacket that ended near his waistline, I think this fit would have been fire.
Walton Goggins. It's a miss for me. It's a miss for sure.
Anne Hathaway has great proportions. She could be or is a model herself.
Yes.
This ain't doing nothing for her, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. It makes her arms, her hands look really long and disproportionate.
What I will say, and you probably already know what I'm going to say, this Titanic sapphire necklace thing she got going on.
Fire.
Fire. I will disagree with you about the shirt though. I like the shirt. It feels like after hours. I just got off work. I'm kind of like pulling up my sleeves, opening up the neck. What I dislike about this a lot, which I don't think is helping her at all, and I think she wants to convey that has longer legs than she actually does. This skirt is not working for me at all. I feel like maybe a different pattern of skirt, or maybe less. What is it? The skirt is like up to her belly button. Maybe a lower like sitting skirt, so we can give more to the shirt. I don't know. Something about this is off. The hair is fire though. That too. I'll just put that out there.
All right.
We got to end with Emma Chamberlain because there's
that's where I landed too.
There's a mixed bag with Emma Chamberlain. We got to go with Emma Chamberlain. Talk to me.
Well, Emma Chamberlain, as far as I know, is an internet influencer who's made her way into the Met Gala, into the scene. So she's, for a lot of people, giving hope and validating that you can start in one place and end up in another place, completely validating.
Too.
Yeah, she is. Okay. Yeah. I love her hair.
Yes.
I like her makeup and her glasses, this kind of smoky eyes and this kind of, I guess, almost like soulless, I'm not really here kind of expression on her face. I think it's a look. It's a vibe.
Yes.
I like the pinstripe. I like that there's some cutaways showing. So it looks to me like somebody took one of these suits and then just started to strip away material to see what was left. Now, right? True. It kind of looks like that, right? Like, let's cut away and see what's there. Maybe it's not all working together, but I like the idea of it. And I think it's something about the amount of fabric that's left versus what is taken away. So I like that it hints at a pant on her left hip, but then you can see that it's open in the front. So it is a dress.
Yes.
And there's something about it. It's like, what can we do to maybe pull the hips out a little bit more or show a little bit more here or there? So there's the asymmetry is an idea that's being explored, but it's not fully exploited.
I love this. I don't know what it is for me, but I love it. And I think it's everything you described. It reminds me of those paintings or murals that you can look at from different sides and then it gives you a different look or it gives you a different perspective or a completely different image. The fact that there are things missing, your mind wants to go to, I want to see the rest of the suit, but because it's missing, you're like, ooh, that's interesting. I also love how, because she has very strong shoulders, she has a very strong collarbone too. The fact that those are naked and shown off, I love it. I also love these, what do you call these, Chris? Like, they're not gloves, like hand stockings? Are these hand stockings? Like, she's wearing hand stockings?
That sounds about right.
I love that. I love everything about this. I could do with a shorter cape / tail, but then it would just turn into a cut up suit. So I get why that's there. And then the M&M thing she has going on with the makeup and the hair, fire. All right. Last but not least, special mention per Chris's request here. And I think it's worthy of a special mention. 3 Stacks, Andre 3000, half of Outkast. Talk to me, Chris. What are your thoughts here?
Okay. This is such a unique and crazy look. It is Met Gala worthy, I believe, because This is clearly not practical. I'm going to talk about the design, the references, but also because there's some kind of marketing component to this, as Mo has informed me. Let's talk about the overall vibe and the shape. First of all, you cannot be missed by carrying a piano on your back. Maybe this is a baby grand piano. I don't know if that's a prop because I assume this is really heavy. But here's a couple things you need to know. For a period in time, Andre 3000 had a fashion line called Benjamin Bixby, which is a throwback to this kind of black dandyism thing. So if he doesn't know, who doesn't know? Okay. And it's reminiscent because of this white strap that's being used to hold the piano together is one of the signature elements of his line. Like he would make polo shirts or rugby shirts with this white X through it. So I like there's a callback to that. This, as far as I can tell, is some kind of jumpsuit a mechanic would wear, but he's elevated it. He's put some kind of embroidery or some kind of pattern in the material.
Looks like umbrellas.
Is it umbrellas?
Yeah, umbrellas in rain. There we go. I just zoomed in. Umbrellas in rain.
Yes, you're right. It's some umbrellas. And I think that's kind of like elevating the jumpsuit. And he's wearing, I can't tell, but some kind of white shirt, some collar or a tie underneath it. And I love the fit with the red contrasting foamy beret. I like the oversized spectacles or goggles he's wearing. I love how he's trimmed his beard. So he's aged, obviously, but he still looks mature, sophisticated, and edgy. The things that I wish Pharrell would never lose, I think Andre 3000 has it in spades.
To me, I echo everything you just said. And Andre has a special place in my heart because when I was a kid, he had that Cartoon Network show where he was a music teacher, and it was just amazing. And he's true to form. The best thing about this is it's exactly what you said about Pharrell. When you see this, it's like, this is Dre. This is Andre. This is 3 Style. Like, you got the jumpsuit, you got the beret, which he's worn for an excessive period of time. I just think I love when I see people go outside of the box with what they're wearing or whatever they're doing, but it still feels congruent with who they are. And this to me says that all the way. And of course, the dude's hauling a piano at the Met Gala. Like, first of all, how did he sit down? I'm sure he took it off. That's a joke. But how did this guy sit down? But overall, I love it, particularly the glasses. I love the octagon type of shape they have going on.
Did you notice the black garbage bag?
I'm surprised you didn't mention anything about that. What are your thoughts about the garbage bag?
This is like a hefty cinch sack, I believe, with the extra tough liner. And I think it's a statement and just a self-aware nod to say, like, this is all for pomp and image, so we're good with that. But here's the thing. I can tell, like, he's pretty fit. I like the proportions. So it is flattering to his shape, and it's a good look for him. And it's not making him look like he has a tummy or his legs are too short or whatever. It's a good look, and clothes should accentuate your body type.
I could not agree more.
Now, I'll tell you something. If you were to turn off all the lights and backlight every single person walking through and capture the silhouette, there is no way you would mistake him for anybody else.
Facts.
No one has that shape.
No one has that shape. You're 100% right.
Yes.
You're 100% right.
Okay. So that's a wrap of our completely ill-informed perspective on fashion. That's highly subjective. If you want us to do more videos like this, let us know. As you may know, I'm diving headfirst into the world of fashion myself. So this is a way for me to exercise a muscle. Please do not unsubscribe from us. Just let us know more of this and we'll stop it. Or let us know you love it and we'll do more.